Okay, so I was sent this and was told, "Hey, make something out of this. Make a video or something." And just look at it. Me looking at it, I'm like, Zuck looks sharp. He doesn't look half bad here. You know, as a martial artist, I'm looking at this, I'm like, he's all right. I guess you know, he's got good training partner, good coach. He's taught the right stuff. Also, he's wearing Hayabusa gloves because, you know, he's a billionaire. Of course, he can buy the best stuff. Yeah, so whoever's holding the camera is coaching him. And his training partner, he's congratulating his training partner here who got a fight on UFC Fight Pass, which is a pretty good achievement for a pro MMA fighter going to the next level, you know. Props, I guess. And the UFC posted a comment. Uriah Faber. Who else? UFC fighters. Yeah, they're gonna pat on the back the owner of one of the social networks that they rely on for spreading their own fame. Like Gilbert Burns, Aljamain Sterling. Oh boy. And Conor McGregor. He doesn't look bad actually. So he fights southpaw. And I also fight southpaw. So it's heavily edited though. So you know his blunders aren't shown. His kicks looks all right. Oh, look at this. He's got groundwork. He knows what to do in the scramble. Got clinch work. Whoa, pretty good sprawl actually. He's got takedown defense. That's nice. Although, mind you, I don't know how much his training partner here is giving him. And this kind of sparring is totally valid. This is technical sparring, soft sparring, so that you don't get your brain scrambled every single time you spar. And it's good for building technique, for building reactions, and just for getting a general feel for fighting. You know, it's a good idea. Mind you, at first when I saw this, I was like, you know, whoever is coaching the Zuck here should be exiled and ostracized because he's teaching a billionaire how to fight. But then again, I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. Rich people have always been the one who patronized and supported the martial arts. That's why we have the martial arts in the first place. Poor people don't have the luxury or the time and resources in order to do that because, well, they gotta work. You know, they gotta make a living, feed themselves. But if you're rich, well, you have a lot of extra time. So guess what? You get to go to the gym. You get to have quarrels with other rich people, and thus you need, you know, to be on top of your game so that you can have deadly duels with them to prove your point and, you know, preserve your honor. Have you watched the play Hamilton? Alexander Hamilton got killed in a duel. Although mind you, those were pistols. By the way, this training partner. So apparently his name is Kai Wu. Wu is his surname. Wu, this name is the Mandarin version of Go. Relative? Who knows? I'm also a Wu. It seems like he's a pro MMA fighter. He had his debut on UFC Fight Pass. And according to his Tapology, he debuted in 2018. Made his professional debut. He had been fighting in the amateur since 2016. So, you know, he's 6 years into his MMA career. 6 wins, 4 losses. He's 27 years old, 5'7". Oh, okay, bantamweight, so 135. Although he also fights in 145. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, he's got sub, he's got a KO win. He's got a Peruvian necktie win. I gotta applaud this guy. He won with one of my favorite submissions, the Peruvian necktie. The last guy who was really good with the Peruvian necktie, his career didn't really pan out, but I cheered for him because I loved that submission. Yeah, CB Dalloway, that guy could have been big, but you know. In the meantime, back to rich people fighting. So, yeah, there's this guy, Johannes Lichtenauer. And a lot of other so-called weapon masters, they preserved the European martial arts. Nowadays, we now have what's called HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts. Those treatises were written by people who had the time and resources in order to practice the martial arts, practice swords and spears and all the different weapons that make European martial arts quite fascinating. I can't complain about that. And also, you know, if they're rich enough, they may even found their own combat club and organize their own submission grappling championships. That's Sheikh Tahnun bin Zayed Al Nahyan, founder of Abu Dhabi Combat Club, then paved the way for the ADCC World Submission Fighting Championships. If you win that competition, you are the best in submission grappling, whatever your discipline is, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or so on. And he's able to establish that because, well, he is, you know, he has the dosh and the vested interest in the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He got really into it, and boom. Also, there's this guy. Oh boy, this is the dark side though. So this guy, his name is John DuPont. John Eleuthère DuPont. I don't know how that's pronounced. Anyway, if you've watched the movie Foxcatcher starring Steve Carell as this guy, you know this guy is a creep, a mega creep, and he was really, really, really into wrestling. He was an heir to the DuPont fortune. DuPont, for you know, Teflon Chemical Corporation, makes tons of money. Like, you can use their products for just about everything. It has tons of applications, especially like something like Teflon, even though, you know, it's later found out that it's a forever chemical that can stay in your system and give you health side effects. Oh boy. Anyway, John DuPont over here, he got into a lot of hobbies. He was an ornithologist, a philatelist. What's a philatelist? Philately. Oh, okay. He collected postage stamps and conches. You know, this is what you do when you're rich and don't have to work a day in your life. And yeah, he was a sports enthusiast, and his favorite sport was wrestling. Well, his mother wasn't very pleased with him, as it was depicted in Foxcatcher. She thought of his interests as low, and she didn't like it when he did things that were low, that were beneath him, you know, and that stuck to his craw. You know, but he went ahead and used this money to establish a training facility called Foxcatcher within his property, and he invited the, you know, amateur wrestlers, Olympic wrestlers of the highest caliber, including the Schultz brothers, housed them, gave them a stipend every month, and let them be able to continue to ply their sport, still be able to support their families. Past college and later on the Olympics, past that, there was no way for a wrestler, an amateur wrestler, to make a living other than getting into professional wrestling. And a lot of those people tend to look down on, you know, fake fighting. That is, of course, until the 90s. You know, in 1993, the UFC came about, and boom, there was a new potential career path for wrestlers. However, he also had mental problems, so soon enough he was starting to have like paranoid delusions that he was being spied on, and there was a plot to assassinate him and shit. According to this, on the 25th of February 1997, he was convicted of murder, third-degree murder, for the January 26, 1996 shooting of David Schultz. And for those who don't know who David Schultz is, he was one of the greatest American wrestlers to have ever lived. Unfortunately, he was shot dead by this guy at the age of 36. So sad. And this guy got put in jail, and he died in jail. Good. He rotted in there, hopefully. And to date, he is the only member of the Forbes 400 richest Americans to be convicted of murder. There was no need for him to do any of that, but you know, he did because, well, he was a boiling pot of insecurities, that man. If you saw how Steve Carell portrayed him in the movie Foxcatcher, ooh, it's quite chilling. Anyway, going back to this guy, I watched this clip quite a few times, and it made me realize something. You know, Zuckerberg, he's always like, especially during the Congress hearings, he was derided for being not really human, more like a robot. And then it got me thinking, watching this, you know, maybe he is a robot. That's not Mark Zuckerberg. That's a Mark Zuckerberg rubber mask with the zipper in the back. And you open that zipper, take off that mask, and what do you get? You likely got this guy. He's a Mishima Zaibatsu combot. That's my theory. He's this guy. And I do think he downloads your combat data and parses it into his algorithm. He's going to find you. He knows where you live. He knows your name, your Facebook friends, your relationship status. He's going to find you. He has all the data he needs in order to find you and beat you up. And soon enough, you know, since he's training hard, he will. And he will put you in a triangle choke and submit you.